Every man wants a good woman until that good woman requires you to be a good man.
Have you ever wondered why the woman you're interested in seems to forget you exist the moment you stop texting her? Or worse, why she seems relieved when you finally back off? Here's the brutal truth that most men never learn. Chasing a woman will never make her miss you. In fact, the harder you try to get her attention, the more invisible you become in her mind. Today we're diving deep into the psychology of what actually makes women miss men, even when they weren't initially interested. But just before you get glued to your screen, please like, comment, and subscribe. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. This is about understanding the emotional triggers that create genuine attraction and longing. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to shift the dynamic from you chasing her to her wondering where you went. The foundation of making someone miss you starts with understanding a counterintuitive principle. Women don't miss your presence, they miss your absence. But not just any absence. It has to be the right kind of absence, delivered with confidence and purpose. Most men get this backwards completely. Let's start with the power of strategic silence. When a woman isn't showing interest or seems distant, your natural instinct might be to reach out more, explain yourself, or try harder to connect. This is emotional panic talking, and it destroys any chance of her missing you. Instead, silence becomes your most powerful tool. Real silence isn't about being petty or vindictive. It's about creating space where she can actually feel your absence. When you constantly fill every gap with texts, calls, or explanations, you're not giving her brain the chance to process what life feels like without you. Women are emotional processors who need contrast to recognize value.
It's quite simple, actually. You don't always feel enough to any person. So, be yourself. Let people love you.
Here's what happens when you truly go silent. First, she notices, then she questions it, then she starts wondering why you're not reaching out. That curiosity is the beginning of emotional engagement. But most men ruin this by cracking after just a few days. They send that "just checking in" message that completely resets the dynamic. True strategic silence means no likes on her posts, no birthday wishes, no accidental replies to her stories. You temporarily don't exist in her digital world. This creates psychological pressure without force. Even if she's seeing someone else or told you she's done, women feel energy shifts deeply. When your attention suddenly disappears, it triggers something uncomfortable that makes her start remembering you differently. The second principle is controlling your availability. Being too accessible is one of the fastest ways to become invisible to someone who isn't fully invested in you yet. When you're always available, always responding immediately, always clearing your schedule for her, you're teaching her that your time has no value. Think about it this way. We only miss what we can't easily get. If you're constantly available, there's nothing to miss. You need to retrain your mindset from trying to prove your worth to living a full life that naturally draws people in. This doesn't mean being rude or playing hard to get artificially. It means genuinely having other priorities, interests, and commitments that matter to you. When you stop being available on demand, you send a silent message about your value. You're not trying to convince her of anything. You're simply demonstrating through your actions that your time and energy are limited resources. This shift in availability forces her to question her assumptions about you and her place in your world.
What is stress? Stress is the gap between your expectation and the reality.
The third strategy involves letting her truly feel your absence. This goes beyond just going quiet for a few days. Your absence needs to leave an emotional gap that she can't ignore. Most men don't give this enough time or space to work because they're afraid she'll forget them completely. But here's what you need to understand. If someone can easily forget you exist, they weren't genuinely interested anyway. A woman who had any real connection with you will feel the contrast when you're no longer present in her life. This isn't about sitting around waiting for her to notice. While she's processing your absence, you should be actively building yourself and focusing on your own growth. The fourth element is controlling your emotional availability. One of the biggest mistakes men make is giving someone full access to their emotions and inner world before that person has earned it. When you're always emotionally open, sharing your feelings freely, and making yourself constantly accessible on an emotional level, there's no mystery left. Mystery builds attraction. When someone always knows how you feel, where you stand, and that you'll be emotionally available whenever they need you, they don't have any reason to wonder about you. You want to be warm, but not wide open, present, but not predictable. This means not immediately sharing deep thoughts when she hasn't shown genuine effort, not explaining your every mood or decision, and not being her emotional support system when she's not reciprocating that energy. You're creating healthy boundaries around your emotional world.
Men always complain that women aren't decisive. She's not picking a restaurant because she doesn't want to be responsible for the outcome of the situation.
The fifth principle is perhaps the most important. Stop trying to prove yourself. The moment you start trying to convince someone of your worth, you automatically position yourself as less valuable. Women aren't attracted to men who beg for their attention or constantly try to demonstrate their value through words or grand gestures. Instead of proving yourself, focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally commands respect and interest. This shift is internal first. You stop moving from a place of insecurity and start operating from genuine confidence. You're no longer asking for permission to feel good about yourself. When you stop trying to prove anything, something interesting happens. She starts to wonder what changed about you. The absence of your effort creates space for her to feel curious about your transformation. She might even start questioning whether she underestimated you or made a mistake in how she treated you. The sixth strategy is mastering the art of productive silence. This isn't about passive aggression or hoping she'll break down and contact you. Real silence is disciplined and purposeful. It's about protecting your emotional space and refusing to fill every uncomfortable moment with words or explanations. While you're maintaining this silence, she's left alone with her thoughts about you. Without your constant energy clouding her perception, she can reflect more clearly on your interactions and what you brought to her life. If there was any genuine connection, your silence will bring those feelings back to the surface. The final piece is creating genuine regret about losing you. This doesn't happen through manipulation or trying to make her feel bad. It happens when you become the version of yourself that she always sensed you could be. But now she's no longer around to experience it. Women don't regret losing men who stay stagnant after a relationship ends. They regret losing the man who leveled up, who became stronger and more grounded without needing them to validate that growth. When she sees that you've genuinely improved yourself, not out of desperation but out of purpose, that's when real regret sets in.
If a woman leaves you for another man, don't beg, don't argue, don't try to win her back. She made a decision. In that moment, she saw him as the better option.
Remember, this entire process isn't about getting her back. It's about reclaiming your power and understanding your worth. If she does come back, you'll be in a completely different position than when she left. You'll be the one deciding whether she fits into your new life, not the other way around. The truth is, if someone never misses you after you're gone, you didn't make a real impact. But when you master these principles, when you stop chasing and start building yourself up, everything changes. She starts to notice, remember, and feel something again because you became the kind of man who leaves a lasting impression. What's your experience with this? Are you currently in that silence phase, or have you seen these dynamics play out? Share your story in the comments below. Let's build a community where men understand their value and stop settling for one-sided effort.